Hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Ryan. I'm here with my co-host Josh, and in the studio here we have my cousin and fellow league mate Ethan. Say hi, Ethan. All right, so today we just going to be talking NFL, talking fantasy football. So, what's some news you've been hearing, Josh?
I think we can break some news of our own. Nothing football related, but some good news. We've been kind of trying to do some
Yep.
work behind the scenes, and you can now find the Last Place Fantasy Football podcast not only on YouTube, but on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we will be uploading those, not only the older podcasts, but also all of ours, ones for the season from now on as well. So you can find us on those platforms as well.
Yep.
That's three places
and
I
that
can hear
is
myself talk.
Yeah. And that is all thanks to the hard work from behind the scenes by Josh and also his wife, Ashley. They work tirelessly on this podcast, and I'm just the pretty face that gets to show up and talk football. So they have all the credit. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Ashley. I know you're behind the camera. So, but yeah, on to some fantasy football news.
And boy, do we have some.
Recent signings. Take that away.
So I say I want to start with the big one. It kind of happened a couple hours ago. Odell Beckham Jr., we finally know where he's going.
Yeah, found a landing spot finally after
the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, it's crazy. So just the fantasy impact on that. Just so many players that are going to be impacted by it. And a lot's up in the air because it just happened recently. We don't know how he's going to be fit into the offense. And, he may take a couple of weeks to actually get comfortable in the offense and everything. So who knows? But Matthew Stafford's got quite a target now.
Boy, you might as well just start trading for. Yeah, you better start trading for Matthew Stafford now. Yesterday,
there's so many options
last week.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel bad for Robert Woods.
I know. Yeah, he's going to be cut out.
All right. So I want to bring this up because I had a text from another league owner, Jacob Duran, and I want to bring up his idea here. One, because as a Robert Woods, Bobby Tree's fantasy owner, I really need this to happen. But he goes, I think OBJ and Cup have a similar style, maybe opening the underneath for Woods. We've seen glimpses of this with Van Jefferson, who is not as talented as Odell, thus helping Woods' game.
Yeah.
I need this to be true.
Help it out. That could help out. But then again, he could be boxed out of that.
I think everyone's target's going down. I think Cooper Kupp is not going to hit the pace that he's on right now. That's for sure.
And if you look at, what we talked about in a previous podcast, with Matthew Stafford honing in on one wide receiver and kind of just feeding him, like he was in Detroit with Galladay. He fed Galladay, and he fed
from Galladay.
I don't think it's going to change too much how the offense works.
Yeah.
It's going to go through Kupp, but I think it's going to allow the Rams to open up the playbook a little bit more and disguise some things, run a little more difficult concepts. It does suck now because they don't have a speedster in Van Jefferson to stretch the field. Now they kind of have to play the more dink and dunk, drags, crossers.
Yeah,
I will say if you know who has the Higbee fantasy owner, if you have an extra tight end to spare, like say for example you have a Dawson Knox as a backup, or the Muth is Luth, the Pat Fryer Muth, and I feel like that's a good kind of target because I think Higbee's targets are basically gone. They were snatched up.
Yeah,
but I think we all have to remember, it's kind of Sean McVay's offense, no matter
Yeah.
what. And even though we have all talked about Stafford feeding his number one receiver. If Sean McVay is going to go, hey, we need to get this guy the ball more, he'll scheme it up for that to happen.
Yep.
And I mean, the best example is the Seattle game. Robert Woods had 14 targets that game and that was literally after him saying, yeah, we need to get him the ball more.
Yeah, this was probably Sean McVay's wet dream, getting Odell.
Honestly, it is. Like, the funny thing is that they all three kind of have a very similar style. Like, it's all route running pretty much.
Yeah.
Like Deshaun Jackson and Van Jefferson were like the different receivers, but I think you have three receivers now. You don't have enough people to double.
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson should be A-okay. Like he should be fine.
Honestly,
still.
I don't think he's gonna be. Yeah.
I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with that, it'll open up the run game a lot because they're gonna have to spread out. They're gonna have to cover all of these targets.
I mean, yeah, because defensively, you're gonna have to go into a shell defense to cover that. If you're in a single high defense trying to cover OBJ, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods, they're going to throw for 500 yards a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Stafford's more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Stafford basically kill almost every coverage minus Tennessee. But literally, like, I just had the point. I kind of forgot. But if we think about what teams have been doing this year, especially on the defensive side of the ball, like this too high shell, doubling your number one, which let's also add, Bill Belichick has been doing that since 2018.
Right.
Funny enough.
Okay.
But so everyone's kind of been doing that. You literally, you can do the too high shell, but there is an answer for every
you can counter
idea.
You can counter every defense.
Exactly.
It's just how they adjust throughout the game.
And that's why I'm saying Darrell Henderson's stock is going to go up because they're going to play too high shell, which is okay.
Less people in the box too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the other safety out of the box. Darrell Henderson, please go and score.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, they probably have to play a nickel too, so the personnel matching is probably going to be smaller as well, which helps the Rams offense because they have a smaller O line. It's based on speed. The only part of the reason, we can bring this up, like the Titans game, I'm not too worried about the Rams because the Titans are just a personnel nightmare. You have all these big bodies up front, and there's no way your smaller O line can handle them.
Yeah.
So obviously, if I'm the Rams, I don't want to face the Titans in the Super Bowl at all. So I think that's kind of what the story is what the story is not saying at the moment. But I think the Titans D-line just kind of overwhelmed them.
Yeah.
But I think you have to play nickel against this team now, without a doubt. And it really also depends on, can Odell stay healthy?
Yeah. Because
if he can't, that's kind of what all of our ideas and hypotheticals are kind of relying on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and that's true. And let's just point out the fact of how stellar this Rams team is in general. Another one of their signings last week, Von Miller.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Jalen Ramsey all on the same offense or on the same defense.
Leonard Floyd, add Leonard Floyd to that too.
I know who I'm watching on Sunday.
So that's going to be the team to beat right now.
And because I think that they can do it all. I know a lot of people had the Bills, but the Bills literally can't run even if you put a gun to their head.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And
trust me, I'm a Zach Moss owner. I know that. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun being Zach Moss.
I learned my lesson last year when I had both of them, Zach Moss and
they're a good 1-2 punch, and they together create a decent running back, but separately they're junk.
If you could just put Singletary and him together, it'd be a beautiful.
Together, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss put up a poor man's James Robinson.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Which is basically CEH. So.
Yeah. So
no.
another another signing is, well, pending a physical, is Cam Newton to
So
Carolina.
it's official from what
Well, it is
I last saw.
official. Okay.
Because
I heard that it was pending a physical. So
I saw
that was
4.5
this morning.
guaranteed, so I am almost certain
Oh.
that it's done.
Sure.
But what's important with that is Coach Rule said that PJ Walker was starting on Sunday though.
He kind of
Well,
has
yeah,
to.
he has to go through.
I mean, obviously there's a
protocols and
COVID
whatnot.
protocol. There's
Yeah.
also
So he's probably not going to play till at least next week,
Right.
maybe the week after. But yeah.
when is Carolina's bye week? That might be something I'm looking up right now.
It's not next week.
I don't know.
think.
As I'm trying to.
Oh. Let's see. I got you, Richter. It is week 13, so it's not for a couple weeks.
Yeah, not for a couple weeks, but the thing is I think Cam is a veteran. Like he will pick up that offense quick.
Yeah.
And as a CMC owner now, let me prop myself up a little bit here. I
Can we
am
talk
super
about that
excited.
trade?
I thought it was a good trade.
Can we please talk about that trade?
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
Let's
first
talk about
off,
that trade.
yeah.
No. I need to say one thing before you go into this. How are you going to trade for CMC and then still lose to me in fantasy, Richter? How do you justify that to the people?
Oh,
Okay.
I'll justify this. You
For
had
any
Nick Chubb.
Richter fans out there, trades for CMC,
Okay.
plays me,
Okay.
loses.
Okay.
Trades for CMC.
Just
But
no.
CMC
listen,
only scored.
These are the facts.
No.
These are the. No, it's the notebook. The facts are in the notebook.
No. Give me. All right, hold on. Ryan, I know you want to jump in. Let me start off here. This man was trying to have me get Damian Williams for Deebo Samuel. What on earth kind of trade is that? And second of all,
It's not. It's a joke.
you want to know how insane like CMC's like stat was? Like he had 17 points. Great for any other running back. He did that literally playing 50% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Like that's all I needed to see right there. He's okay.
That's the kind of player he is, though. That it really is. Like he could play half the time and still look like a solid running back.
Yeah, and you
Or have
talking
a
about
stat
how
line
I
of a
lost
solid
to you,
running
Ethan.
back.
Nick Chubb had 37 points. There's
Yeah.
nothing. Literally, when like at least 5 people on my bench are out for the year. Gus Edwards, ETN, Curtis Samuel at this point is technically out for the year, and
Yeah, my keeper league is looking like that.
Yeah,
my whole
that's how
bench
my
is
keeper
covered
league
is
is.
covered in either bye weeks,
Or
IRs, or
Yeah.
Qs. They're
Yeah.
all it's frustrating.
very frustrating. Yeah, so don't come at me, Ethan. Your team is all right, but there's no chance next year. That's all I have to say.
So
There's no chance for my team next year.
Yeah, Ryan and I have basically said we like your team this year. We
Yeah, your
don't
team is
know
good
how it
this year,
fares next year.
I don't know how much longevity you have.
Just wait. I got a trade cooking. I'm gonna help with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, when you do
Yeah,
get
it'll
that
be
trade
covered
through,
on here.
it'll be
It'll be
covered.
covered on here.
It will be covered on here, like the
Yeah,
last.
it
trade.
will. We talk about all the trades here.
But
Any
did y'all-
activity,
Did y'all
really.
talk about that trade? The CMC trade yet?
Yeah.
Oh,
We actually did it on.
Yeah, we did it
live.
on air.
Oh, you did it live?
Yeah, we did it
Yeah.
live.
Oh, I missed that one.
I literally proposed it like live
In
in the middle of the podcast. We were going through, and I'm like,
All right.
"Hey, what if I trade you this?"
It's only
for
fair
this?
that I do
So-
the same then. If we trade live.
Is he offering? Who are you offering a trade? Let's
Yeah.
start off with
Okay.
that.
Let's.
No, there's no insider scoop.
Yeah.
Anyways, Cam Newton was just signed. Crazy breaking news.
So here, all right. So my real question is, I'm okay. I'm confident in CMC. How do y'all feel about DJ Moore now?
I think he goes down a little bit, just because Sam Darnold really seemed like he liked him. I think. Who's the other wide receiver there?
Robbie Anderson, Terrence
Robbie
Marshall.
Anderson. I think Anderson starts getting more targets. He was a favorite of Cam Newton whenever he was there. So
I mean, DJ Moore was also a favorite of Cam when
Yeah,
they were there as well. It's just
that's true.
I think, and
That's true.
I'm okay with saying this. The offense sucked in Carolina because we're
Yeah.
seeing it in Washington.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you can tell me you have a good tight end in Logan Thomas, you have Antonio Gibson, and a very decent second running back in McKissick. Scary Terry. I mean, we'll slide with Curtis Samuel because he's been hurt. And you're
Yeah,
telling me you
Ron
can't
Rivera.
score points? Like,
They need
Oh.
offensive line though.
Yeah.
Bad.
yeah, that's also
And a
true.
QB.
I mean, but that's
Yeah.
where Cam
We need
is
a long-term
also
QB. I think
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke,
Heineke.
Taylor Heineke, whatever his name is. I think he's done a good job as a backup,
I
but
think Washington is going for a quarterback this year.
he needs they need a solid quarterback. They need a fresh young quarterback.
It feels a lot like the situation when Big Ben went down and you just had the carousel behind him, and it's like it wasn't
Yeah.
terrible,
but it wasn't
but
great.
you needed a
It wasn't
QB.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, how this feels with Washington, it kind of feels like Kansas City almost is like that team is ready.
Yeah.
You just have to get the right
The team
person.
they really have stars in place in the right places. They need a leader. They need somebody to solidify everybody.
They also need to figure
So.
out that defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But back to Cam Newton,
That
though.
secondary is awful.
I think Cam Newton, what they're thinking is that's the only quarterback on the market that's going to like handle an NFL hit and handle that O line.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the move. I mean, PJ Walker, I hope he does good because he also did good in XFL. So I really hope he succeeds.
Yeah,
But I think
he's done a good job.
Yeah, I think Cam Newton was the right signing though, 100%. And I think that also released pressure off of CMC because now you can let Cam run.
Yeah,
and I think that might be the bigger point too.
Yeah.
Wasn't
I agree.
The almost like complete season that CMC played was with Cam Newton?
Yeah, the last
the
complete
last
season
one
that
was
he
with
played
Cam.
was with Cam. And I
Before
think
Cam lost his
that's
shoulder.
gonna help. Yeah, I think that's gonna help. But yeah. So we were speaking of Nick Chubb earlier. He might be out this week with COVID. He's waiting on a pending test or negative test. So we'll see that probably Sunday.
We'll see if there's no word with him
With
on
him,
Saturday. He's basically out, and at that point, put Dearness Johnson in.
Yeah, lock in Dearness Johnson, definitely.
Now, the only thing that's going to be interesting is you play a very good New England team right now.
Well, we'll see how Dearness Johnson handles it.
Yeah, Dearness Johnson gets like 180 yards. That would be hilarious.
Honestly,
with that offensive line, maybe.
Everyone was talking trash when he came in the first time, and then he silenced everybody.
He did.
He was
he proved
slow,
himself as a
take
decent running back.
Yeah.
Proved himself. I mean, he's done a good job. Other breaking news, not so breaking news, but other news that kind of broke yesterday or the day before. Dalvin Cook and some issues that occurred last year, domestic issues. So
kind of like
it's kind of up in the air.
Yeah, kind of like the Deshaun Watson saga.
But one girl.
But I've seen some of the briefs that they've had, and it looks like he's legitimately the victim. And they're like, because she came into his house and assaulted him with two witnesses that were in his house with him. He has two witnesses that she broke into his house and then like held them up at gunpoint. And
so I didn't hear any of this.
Yeah,
I just kind of was like, kind of like the Deshaun Watson saga. Like maybe like I don't know how this impacts fantasy. So
this happened. This happened over a year. Yeah, this happened like a year ago, last November. So how this all came up is she was over the last year has been trying to extort him because of that. Because she claimed domestic issues were a result of that. And I guess her and her lawyers are trying to extort money out of him, or have been over the last year. I don't know. This is just what I've heard. This is not substantiated.
It's a very interesting situation that
I don't personally think that he's going to be.
I don't think he'll miss time.
He's going to miss time, at least this year. If anything does come out in the off season or as a result of this, it's all civil. It's all civil suits, so it's not anything criminal.
But that would still probably be a hefty fine or suspension.
Yeah, he may get a suspension if there's any fault in it. But right now, from what I hear, he's claiming self-defense. And from my perspective, from what I've heard and what I've seen, it looks like self-defense. So who knows?
So we'll keep you updated the more info that we get there, because that is all a very interesting situation.
But I've seen a lot of Dalvin Cook owners freaking out, buying Alexander Madison, and pretty much saying, "Well, Dalvin Cook's done." It's like,
I feel like that's
don't panic.
Don't panic at all.
Don't panic on it. It's nothing that's going to affect his season, at least this year. Dynasty owners, hang on to him, and if you can, spend a low draft pick on Alexander Madison.
Yeah, just for the insurance.
Yeah. Because Alexander Madison has proven himself in that Vikings offense. He can do what Cook does. Maybe not as good, but at least keep up with him. So, but
Yeah, so we have a couple. I have two more things. It's just injury news. Alvin Kamara sitting again on Thursday. Obviously, if he doesn't be a limited participant by Friday, if he's still a DMP on Friday, that's I would say then he'll be out. The other big one that I want to bring up, because this is first time popping up on the injury report, Naji Harris with a foot injury, apparently.
Naji,
which I think that's, if I'm a Naji Harris fantasy owner, I am terrified.
Yeah, because who's his backup?
It doesn't matter. I don't think the backup. I think is it Anthony McFarland?
Yeah. Is it
Anthony McFarland or Jalen Samuels?
Last time he hit the field, it was not impressive.
That's my point. There's no need to get insurance for Naji. If he's out, you're just gonna have to find another running back. Period.
Well, yeah, you might as well just get rid of all of your Steelers players.
Yeah, except the Mute.
Yeah, because Claypool's still injured.
Yeah, because
Claypool's out, right? Wasn't Claypool declared out today?
Yep, he's declared out.
Yeah. Oh man, the Mute, Pat Fryer Mute.
So it'll be interesting this week, seeing if he does miss time, seeing what that Steelers offense looks like without him. And Claypool. So that'll be interesting. I didn't know about that, so that's new news to me.
That one popped up a few hours ago, so that was new.
So is that the end of your dad's winning streak then? If Naji doesn't play,
probably
no. He has Taylor.
Yeah, he has Jonathan Taylor, but who is he playing this week?
Well, that's a perfect segue to talk about dynasty news. As far as our league. Yeah.
He's playing Michaela. Yeah, he's fine.
Okay, never mind. That's a bye week.
He's good.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
Oh my goodness.
She still has Joe Mixon in.
There we go.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon for the win. And Kenyon Drake.
And
I've got Joe Mixon, Kenyon Drake in a dream.
She has a good team.
When did you become a New Yorker?
She has a good team, but she doesn't set her lineups.
Yeah, she's a teacher.
She probably shouldn't be 3-6, but
no, she should absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't she have Mahomes? I feel like that's been the one thing.
She has Mahomes. She has.
That was her first round.
But
she has James. Was it James Conner?
Yeah, she does
Yeah.
have James. She's
Has
left him on her
and
bench
Saquon.
though
Hold on
for
for a
every week that he's
Yeah.
gone off.
Tyler
Boston Scott.
Boyd.
Christian Kirk's been playing
Yeah,
well too.
Slayton. Dang. And Mark Andrews. Shoot. Dang. Yeah, she's got a good team. She just doesn't set her lineups. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Can we talk about this 97% win rate for you, Ryan?
I know.
No. It's because she
Oh,
hasn't
no.
set her full lineup.
Oh, snap. Hold on. Ashley, we need to set your lineup soon.
Dang it. Why did you tell her?
Because she's my wife.
I know. I
That's
was
a good
I was
call,
fixing
buddy.
to beat her by like 60 points. But I mean, I'd keep Deontay Johnson in right now.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, she has
Yeah,
to put
definitely. That's a
Sutton
lot.
and Mike Evans in.
Can we talk? What was it through 3 weeks?
Yeah, she's just got to replace Burrow.
Was it through 3 weeks that he was 22
Oh, and-
receptions for 22 receptions or something crazy
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, she's got to replace 4 too.
For 22
Uh,
targets for 22 receptions?
But who is that?
Deontay Johnson?
Let's see.
Oh, yeah,
He was
Deontay's been
perfect
insane.
Through a couple
Yeah.
amount of.
I mean, he's had
weeks.
10 plus targets. What, 5 times this year? Dang. All right. That's not bad. That's not bad. He's
Dang,
only
I just
spent
realized
one
is
off.
Waller not on?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I-
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We need to completely change your lineup.
Oh, yeah, I
heard-
know.
I
know.
thought I
I've
had
been
heard
sit-
that Darren Waller was back.
I've been sitting here waiting for her to change her lineup like all week.
Is that for sure Darren Waller isn't back?
No, Waller's back. He played last week and actually had a pretty nice week.
I was like, whew. He's in one of my other leagues, so I was about to change my lineup really quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Tua. All right. Tua just replaced Jacoby Brissett. If anyone's wondering.
Really?
Yeah,
Just
this is
one.
currently recording during the Ravens game, and apparently, so
Oh, Tua's in?
yeah, Tua's in because Brissett got
Ooh.
hurt.
Interesting. I thought he was going to be out this week.
Yeah, I can't believe the Ravens have still only scored 3 points so far.
Dude, I'm really upset.
Yeah, I'm upset too. All right, but
Okay.
I'm not.
Hey,
A
so
lot
the
of-
trade was just accepted. Be ready
No.
to talk about that.
no. Oh, okay. You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
All right, I want to see. All right, I am refreshing.
Yeah.
I am refreshing it.
See if it's gonna pop up in the chat yet. Maybe it hasn't processed yet.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, it should
process.
pop up as soon as it says it's pending.
Yeah.
I think Ethan's just lying to us.
Yeah, I
It
think
says
he is.
pending.
Nah, he's no.
Maybe it'll come through later.
Okay, so I mean, honestly, there are so many waivers that went through this week.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at this point, there.
Hollywood just he fumbled. Yeah,
Oh
He
man.
he's got 5 receptions for 30 yards and 1 fumble.
So
Yeah,
kind of
Hollywood-
all right. If you want instant analysis, real quick, literally Miami's the only team that can play man to man on the Ravens right now because they have Byron Jones and Xavier Howard,
Mhm.
and they don't have anyone for Mark Andrews, but Mark Andrews has not barely been targeted. So I have no idea what's happening.
Craziness.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
But I mean, in the meantime, really, I would say we had 7 waiver claims this week. Really, the only one, and speaking of the Ravens, I find noteworthy is Devonta Freeman.
Yes, Devonte Freeman's gonna have a huge week. He honestly
Interesting.
surprised me last week. He got the bulk of the carries, didn't he?
Yeah, he's basically turned into the RB1.
Yeah.
And what kind of stinks is Tyson Williams for sure has the most juice, but he just hasn't really been able to take a stranglehold of it. And Devonta Freeman has been the best of the retirees.
Right. Which, as a Falcons fan, makes me happy. But I don't know. It is weird seeing him as a Ravens. I mean, I don't have anything against the Ravens, of course, because Lamar Jackson is my QB. But
Yeah, I know.
number one QB
Not
in fantasy
upset.
football as well.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah,
Who wants-
is he QB1? Oh
He's
yeah, after the
QB1.
week Josh Allen had, yeah, he is QB1.
He's QB1.
All righty. So I mean, besides that, besides the potential slaughters that might happen within our league this week, we want to actually try to take things a little bit different. It is week 10, and considering we have an odd number of weeks, it's I guess technically the mid season point for a lot of people, and so we wanted to bring up a couple of discussion points. So the big question is, who is your mid-season fantasy MVP?
I'm gonna go ahead and pass the torch to our guest for the first analysis.
There is
yours?
only one choice for fantasy MVP, and that is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp has been not carrying my team, but he's been helping my team a lot all season. It's Cooper Kupp.
Nah, he's
Anyone
carried
that
your
doesn't
team.
say Cooper Kupp is bitter and probably lost every week in fantasy football.
So I think Cooper Kupp is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Considering like where you drafted him, you probably drafted him what, 5th to 7th round,
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
he's-
he was a low draft
and
round
he has
for
been like
years.
wide receiver 1 by a mile. Like it hasn't even been close this year.
what was
Yeah.
his ADP? Wasn't it like 9 or like 10 something?
No, it wasn't that low because I know it was because him and Robert Woods were around the same. So I knew it was like rounds 4 through 7. But it was literally you're thinking, oh well, all right, is it Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods this year? And it's been Cooper Kupp and 80% Cooper Kupp.
That was a funny story because I wanted Robert Woods so bad, and I think it was literally the round before I got Cooper Kupp. Somebody took Robert Woods from me because last year
That was him.
he carried
me.
my team. Yeah, well, thanks, Richter.
Yeah, well,
But you gave me Cooper Kupp, so I guess
that's
yeah.
true.
Thank
That's
you.
true. I mean, personally, in my mind, I picked Robert Woods because I was like, look, I think Cooper Kupp can kill you in weeks. Like he can lose you weeks, whereas Robert Woods, I think, will be steady Eddie pretty much. And Bobby Trees at the beginning was not, but then he's kind of like picked it up as of late.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
but Cooper Kupp has just been insanely
Yeah.
good this year so far. But
Yeah.
I actually kind of want to put my answer in here. Even though he's hurt, I kind of want to say Derrick Henry's still the fantasy midseason MVP.
Yeah,
And
and I was kind of half and half on that. I chose Cup, but I deep down in my heart, I feel Derrick Henry is the first half.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I mean,
MVP.
so Ethan, to give you kind of also context, we've been kind of on, let's see how many targets Derrick Henry could get, because we were trying to kind of tracking to see he was probably having one of the best fantasy seasons ever.
Yeah.
But with
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, basically is this: there are not many good running backs right now, or there's a lot of people about to fall off, and maybe a couple people who like really have that second half surge, but not many people were hitting an output that was as close to what Derrick Henry was in a half. And I think if you had Derrick Henry, there was a good chance you are like first in your league right now, or at least first in your division.
Mhm.
And even though he's hurt right now, so obviously he won't be a true like MVP. He won't be a full season MVP. He still has given you a sizable cushion with how wacky this year has been for fantasy. He's probably given you a good enough cushion to where it's like, hey, you probably have 2 to 3 weeks of like losses to kind of figure out what you're going to adjust with Derrick Henry gone.
And not
that's
be
kind of
able-
even and not feel like the consequences of it. Like you'll still, I mean, it kind of started last week, so you probably have 2 more weeks to kind of figure it out. So that's kind of my argument for Derrick Henry. I totally see the Cooper Kupp argument. He's been fantastic, but I personally have my answer as Derrick Henry.
Yeah. And
That's
I'm kind of half and half. I'm split because, my heart is with Derrick Henry. I've been talking about him. Literally, this podcast could just be me talking about Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Because he's awesome. But
Imagine having both of them on your team.
Oh, I
Kupp
mean-
and
imagine a redraft.
Oh
Like maybe we can do a redraft where we just like pick our midseason teams. Maybe that can be the next episode. Who knows? But like, imagine having JT and Derrick Henry as your two top running backs, Cup as your wide receiver one, and I mean, shoot. I mean, look at the team that you could build from that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you could get, in the first round, Derrick Henry, second round, JT, if he was still there, and then Cup, you could wait till, fourth round or fifth round to even pick up. I mean, you could, my gosh, if we just did a redraft league, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, and
Redraft podcast, sorry.
yeah, that's what's crazy. It's like literally with both of the options, obviously you could have had them on the same team, but I think it's just what they've been putting up this year, like the numbers they've been putting up has been unlike anything we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, both of them just been stellar.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's hard to see Derrick Henry. It's hard to see Derrick Henry go down, in that way.
Our champion.
What is it, an ankle injury?
The fifth metatarsal.
Yeah.
Of his
so
foot.
It's hard to see him go down like that, but I see him coming back stronger than ever next year. So,
are there any other players that you would also consider, or is it just Cup or Henry?
I think for the rest of the season, Jonathan Taylor. Predictions for the rest of the season?
Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor is going to be that. Is going to be the second half.
Speaking of the Ravens, I would put Lamar Jackson up there too. He's been playing good football.
Yeah. Lamar Hollywood's a top 10 receiver in fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, but literally Lamar is accounting, I believe, almost 80% of the team's offensive yardage output.
Yeah.
As they are currently still down by 3 to the Miami Dolphins, but
that is the key to stopping the Ravens. You smother Lamar. That's not it.
Yeah, so I agree with you, Ethan. Lamar can definitely be that MVP for the next surge. So that's our big question for this week. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to have a big question every week depending on what happened the week before or the point in time in the NFL season. But now we get to the fun stuff and things, how we're structuring things out. Great podcasting, Josh. So we are last place fantasy. So we have to start with this. Guys, for week 10, who is your bust of the week? For more context, our bust of the week are players that mostly everyone is starting, but temper your expectations. And I mean, I guess I can start first here. My bust of the week is going to be AJ Brown, simply because obviously no Derrick Henry there, and you have to go against Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah, the threat of the run is gone, and they have AD, but I don't think he's gonna be able to touch the production that Derrick Henry has. It's just not going to be the same. But the threat of the run is gone. I think they'll key off of the passing from Tannehill. So I agree. AJ Brown is probably going to be a bust, and he's going to be somebody to look at throughout the next couple of weeks to see how they transition into the post Derrick Henry season. So, it'll be interesting to see him. But right now, just keep an eye on him and don't expect a whole lot. So
honestly, I'm expecting like 10 points at most.
Yeah. So for me, my bust is Pat Mahomes. I think he's been on a slide the last 3 weeks. He's going to have to dig himself out, and it's a lot of digging. So I just don't know. I don't know.
Man,
and those Pat Mahomes owners, you can put him in if you want. I would wait until he gets a little more confidence because there's something missing there. His game is off, and it's been off for a while. So If you have a better quarterback, put him in. If not, pray.
Yeah. Ethan, how do you feel about that?
The question or about Patrick Mahomes?
Mahomes.
Man, the thing about Mahomes is they have such a young offensive line that they just completely rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
They lost some guys in free agency. They don't have a running game. So it's just hard. And Pat Mahomes is the kind of guy where he's like, I have to do everything. And so when he's not on and he's having every single thing go wrong, and he's also not playing well, I think he's beating himself up.
Yeah.
And it's killing the Kansas City offense.
The mentality, the winning mentality is gone with him. And I think it's a slump. I think he's going to dig himself back.
I think,
but
in the second half, he's going to come out blazing.
I think so, but he's got to have his teammates rally around it.
Yeah.
You know, and
he needs help.
He needs his teammates. Like this is a mentality thing with him. He's not confident.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have a team around him. It's him and Tyreek Hill. And
it's
even Travis Kelce has been really struggling the last couple of weeks. And I know that's partly because of Mahomes, but you know, they're not that stellar offense that we saw last year. And it's sad that, you know, we whittled the Kansas City team down to Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. Yeah. But sadly, that's what it is whittled down to. You lose those guys, you don't have much going for you because that defense is almost, I mean, it's like wet tissue paper. So,
yeah, and I mean, it's kind of sad to see because I mean, everyone has kind of been like Patrick Mahomes lock, like you're kind of ride or die with it. I'll bring up an interesting stat because I mean, he plays Las Vegas. Las Vegas has had a really good pass rush this year, so that could be interesting. Yeah. Pass defense has been all right. His last 3 weeks, obviously, 7, 14, and 10 are the fantasy points. Guess what Mahomes' ranking is still this year?
You're probably, top 5?
He's QB6. So what's crazy is that he is still a top 10 quarterback on the season.
Yeah.
But this, the last 3 games has just been putrid, for lack of a better
term. And that's what I'm saying. He's been on a slide, and he's kind of facing a tough D line right now, or on Sunday. So I don't know if, you know, I'd trust him this week at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ethan, who is your bust of the week?
Man, there's a couple options. So the first one is the Baltimore Ravens offense.
Yeah, don't bring that up.
We're watching that one currently pan out.
Yeah.
But I think the Steelers offense as well is going to be awful. I mean, if they don't have Najee Harris, they don't have Chase Claypool, they don't have Juju. Like
they're going to be struggling.
James Washington, Mr. Brickhands himself, and Deontay Johnson. Like, it's going to be brutal. I feel bad for Steelers fans.
It's going to be rough. So,
and Big Ben Noodle Arm at QB, it's just sad.
Oh, dude, you're that long shot he tried to throw to James Washington, and it's like 20 yards short, and James Washington had to turn back and catch it, and I was like, oh man.
I mean, at what point do you just feel bad for Big Ben? You know,
I mean,
for me, it's right now. I feel bad for him. I think he should retire.
It's pity. Yeah.
I mean, they
don't have anybody. They don't have anybody to back him up.
If Naji plays, Naji's about to have a great game.
Yes, Naji will go off, and I probably will believe in that offense because you play quick game, get it to Naji.
And that offense has turned into, from what was a fairly dynamic offense a couple of years ago, to pretty much them using Naji like CMC and just running the offense through him, through Naji.
Yeah, and then basically that entire team is playing through the defense.
Yeah. Well, they're getting as much as they can through Naji and then praying that the defense holds.
Yeah, I mean,
Pretty
how many
much.
stops did they get last
Yeah.
week? Was it 3 or something like that? Plus the TJ Watt fumble recovery. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
one of
they
the best
they get
defensive
after it.
performances.
But even then, Justin Fields still put up 27 points on them.
Yeah,
That is
exactly.
true.
So it's
Yeah.
like, how long can you keep that up?
Yeah.
All right. So that was our bus for the week of week 10 of the NFL season. Now we
Yep.
get to the slightly more positive part,
Yeah.
sleepers of the week. Now, our sleepers are basically going to be people that you may not be starting. They're kind of like mid-tier, but you expect them to have a pretty good week this week.
Yeah.
So I
So-
say let's take it reverse. Ethan, who is your sleeper of this week?
Oh, see, I was going to take this one.
Oh, yeah. By all means, Ryan, take it.
Okay. All right. We each get a turn to go first. There you
Yeah,
go.
you know what? I like
Even.
that. I like that.
All right. So my pick is Jordan Howard. He has had 3 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks, and he seems to be the lead back for now until who is it? Miles Sanders
Yeah,
comes back.
And
The
Miles
actual lead
Sanders
back.
is eligible to come off the IR next week, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it's a
Yeah.
guarantee.
So it's just one more week. I think Jordan Howard has at least a touchdown, probably about 15 points. But I think he's a sleeper for the week. You know, somebody that you could plug in that you could pray scores 2 touchdowns, you know, or more. Who knows? But
If Boston
Just-
Scott doesn't vulture.
But Boston Scott, I mean, he's had a diminished role over the last 2 weeks because of Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
And Jordan Howard's kind of taken over the running game.
Yeah, he
So-
definitely has. And they play Denver this week.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I mean that
Denver
should be that
minus-
should be a good opportunity.
Yeah, Denver minus Miller. So,
Which that's going to be interesting to
Yeah.
see what the defense looks like now without him.
mhm. Yeah. So, Ethan, what's yours?
I promise this isn't biased at all, but my sleeper for the week is Matt Ryan. Okay, so Matt Ryan, it's not biased. I promise.
Just so you podcasters know, he's a Falcons fan.
No, they couldn't tell. Anyways, Matt Ryan, he's just been on a tear lately. They're coming off a win against the Saints, so they got energy, they got momentum going. They're playing against their ex-head coach, Dan Quinn, and a
Yep.
Dallas defense that just gave it up for free to the Denver Broncos, which was a struggling offense. So I think Matt Ryan is going to have a
Yeah.
huge week in a revenge game against Dan Quinn.
No, I actually love that pick.
Yeah.
I mean, because what we've been saying about Dallas's defense is they're good when they're getting turnovers. When
Right,
they're
yeah.
not getting turnovers, last week happens basically. And
Struggle.
And the other thing with that too is if they try and put Diggs against Kyle Pitts and he makes Diggs look like what he did to Marshawn Lattimore last week, Diggs is going to get upset. And as soon as Diggs is in his head, it's free real estate out in the secondary.
And as a Kyle Pitts owner, I want that.
You're welcome. See?
Yeah.
You're welcome. I am looking out for you.
I will say the big matchup I am looking for, and I had no guts to put him as my bust of the week, just because he's been doing so good. Like he's having quite the year, but I seriously don't know what's going to happen. Is Cordero Patterson versus Micah Parsons?
Yeah. Oh, that'll be a
So-
really fun match.
So that's
Interesting.
going to be an interesting one. So I have no
Huh.
idea what's going to happen, but overall, Matt Ryan has been
He
playing
was the
lights out.
Saints'
Though.
kryptonite, but maybe.
I mean, Matt Ryan's been playing lights out this last few weeks.
Yeah.
And don't
that-
look now,
you watched
Atlanta's
that.
at the playoffs as of right now.
I know it.
Was that?
I couldn't be happy as a Falcons fan. Yeah,
I'm
a
sorry.
double reverse.
No, it was a flea flicker. It was a flea flicker
Oh, you're
screen.
a flea for-
Oh my
flea-
gosh.
wow.
How many? Oh
Miami?
no!
Sorry, we just watched live right now
Oh,
a flea flicker screen.
am I allowed to vomit
From-
on air?
He pitched it to Gaskin.
No.
Gaskin pitched it back, and then they screened from that.
Interesting.
That was
Yeah.
a very
That
interesting.
seems like
play.
something Kansas City would do.
I mean, hey,
Please let this flag be holding.
Woo. Sorry.
Anyway,
Mid podcast, we're all watching the Ravens game.
we have to.
as-
It's football.
It's. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what we
it's
get
football,
for
it's
doing this
also-
podcast on a Thursday night.
Yeah, a third of the show right now is like I want to vomit right now.
I'm sorry, buddy. I really am.
Yeah, it is. Ugh, man, I can't believe it.
Well, when
sorry.
I'm over here, and I'm over here loving it because I'm going up against
Your wife.
Hollywood and Mark Andrews. So yeah,
literally,
I'm-
Miami has done nothing except shut down the Ravens offense, but Miami's offense has done absolutely nothing so far.
a little more than nothing. They have 6 points instead of the Ravens 3, but still.
Takes a shot. Why is he open? Oh my
So-
goodness. Ravens are really about to lose this game.
I'm sorry.
This is
Rick.
great
I'm
podcasting.
so sorry, Rick.
Oh my
no.
gosh.
Oh no. Okay. You know what? This episode might be a little longer as we are just
Wow.
reacting to the Ravens game at this point.
Yeah.
It's
So
okay.
we're
2
all
birds,
watching.
1 stone.
Hey,
Reaction
Okay,
to
one
the
stone.
so,
Hey,
so let's
hey,
keep
Back on
going.
track.
Yeah, keep
Um,
on track. What is your sleeper for the week, Josh?
My sleeper for the week, as I will like to sleep and never remember this Ravens game going on at the moment, is Melvin Gordon. Going up against a Philly defense that is not good against the run.
Mhm.
I mean, Melvin Gordon got more touches compared to Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams is still doing more with what he's given, but they're just running Melvin Gordon until he's basically done. So I
They're
think
pretty much running him into the ground.
Yeah,
I
pretty
don't know
much.
if he's going to be a part of the Broncos organization next year.
no, it's Javonte's team.
It
next
seems
year.
like they have a lot of faith in Devontae, and he's been effective when he's been given the opportunity.
And if
So,
they could get a mid-round pick for Melvin Gordon
Yeah.
and get rid of his contract, that'd be big.
I think
mean,
his contract runs out
ideally,
I thought this was the last year.
no.
Is it? It's either this year or next year. I thought it was next year.
Yeah, I thought it was a 3-year.
Yeah.
Is it? What's his
All right.
contract?
Well, I am checking that as we speak
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
double check that.
Great podcasting, but overall, I think Melvin Gordon has a really nice matchup this week, and I think he can definitely get a touchdown and then
No,
some.
he signed a 2-year
Yeah. So he's still there with
16
Denver until
million.
next year.
in 2020. So
Is it
yeah,
is
he's
it
through next year.
guaranteed?
The contract is
Oh yeah,
guaranteed.
it says 2022. He's a unrestricted free agent.
Yeah. Oh. Wait. Really?
Yeah, he's yeah. This is his last year.
Oh.
Then they missed
Interesting.
that trade
Okay.
deadline.
Yeah. Honestly, like I would have taken advantage of the.
I
lack.
thought Tennessee was going to make the move.
Yeah, I mean they should have.
Yeah.
They have a lack of running backs all over the league, and the Broncos are in a good situation to deal for a decent pick next year.
Yeah.
Or were in a
They
great
could have taken
situation.
advantage
Yeah, they could have taken
multiple-
advantage.
Yeah,
But maybe this was for their organization. They felt like Javonte needed, some time to either mature or learn, while in the backfield with Gordon.
I mean, it
So,
could also be
Who
to just
knows?
not run Javonte into the ground early.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
yeah.
probably the other.
Well, because
scenario
look
in
at
this.
Derrick Henry. He sat behind what Deion Lewis? Was it Deion Lewis?
No,
Yeah, he
DeMarco
sat-
Murray. Oh,
DeMarco Murray. Yeah.
yeah, DeMarco Murray.
Yeah. He sat, behind the starting running back in Tennessee for year or two, and finally broke out. So who knows? It could be that Javonte just needs some time to sit and learn. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I agree with that Melvin Gordon pick. It's a good matchup, and he may go off this week.
And we shall see. Now,
Yeah.
speaking of people going off, our next category is lock of the week. These are people who we are guaranteeing will be extremely good for your team this year. Not this year, this week, if you have them. So we're not limiting it to the top players. This is everyone's involved. Put your name on it. So I believe it's my turn to start.
It is your turn. Yeah.
Michael Pittman against Jacksonville. Yes, please. Carson Wentz has literally been on fire the last few weeks. He's been playing really good football. But Michael Pittman has finally taken a stranglehold for that matter, of the number one receiver spot there.
Yep.
I expect at least a touchdown.
And he is a definite favorite Wentz. He very, very much favors him in the passing game. So I agree with that pick. That is definitely a lock. So
right.
So I have two. For my team, it's definitely Cooper Kupp. Even with OBJ coming in, he's still not going to have a handle on the playbook. Matt Stafford feeds his guy. His guy's Cooper Kupp. So I'm not too worried. He's going to feed Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
But as far as the second one, it's Jonathan Taylor. He's on the tear. He's running over everybody.
Against Jacksonville?
Against Jacksonville.
Getting TDs, man.
One of the worst defenses in the NFL.
Yeah. He'll be very productive this week.
It's a good week to be a JT owner.
Yeah. So my dad.
Captain Baldy.
Yeah.
Yep. Your dad's gonna have a good lineup this week.
Yeah. Well, if Naji plays. So.
That is true.
Yeah.
Now, Ryan, who is your lock?
My lock is Austin Eckler. So he's going up against Minnesota. Our front four for Minnesota is good, but not great. And I think he's going to get a lot of use in the passing game because it's going to be a competitive game, and they're going to keep Eckler busy. Minnesota has every game that they have lost by like 7 points or less, and it's been close. It's been down to the wire. I think that this may be one of those games where Austin Eckler is going to get used. Maybe not in the run game, but the passing game definitely. So.
Oh yeah, and for a Chargers team that desperately needs to kind of get back on track, even with the win last week, I could definitely see this being an Austin Eckler game.
Yeah, Herbert's still in a slump, and he needs to find a way to get out.
Yeah, well, those are bust, sleeper, and locks of the week. You guys have listened to the Last Place Fantasy Football podcast. We're entering into week 10 after the insane week that was week 9. Again, you can find us now on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, and obviously YouTube. But keep following us on those platforms. We're going to be reacting to the Ravens game going on. I guess we might as well just make that an audio only thing because I do not want to play against copyright to the NFL. Oh no, I don't like that reaction.
No,
but I do want to.
Okay,
I do want to say for the podcast.
Yep, you just saw it.
Yeah.
I do want to say for the podcast, Ethan, thank you for coming and just talking with us. And I really enjoyed having you here in the studio. That is my office.
Always fun to have Ethan on the show.
Yeah. And it was great having him on the show.
It was great to have me too.
Getting his input and just getting to talk some fantasy football.
Beating Rickser, it's my favorite thing.
Listen.
As you can tell, Ethan is a trash talker. He loves talking trash.
I punted this year in Dynasty, but in the Keeper League,
this is a punting year.
Yeah, in the Keeper League, however, God. I am here to smoke everybody. And as long as people don't get hurt or get COVID, I'm good.
You lost, and he lost to your dad, and his dad didn't even have a quarterback.
Yeah, that's what makes it worse. Here's the problem. Devontae Adams had nothing. Tyreek Hill had nothing. And then obviously Cordero Patterson, other ones do good, but he had Mixon, Taylor, and Ayuk. Literally
Oh.
kept Ayuk in all season.
Oh my gosh.
So we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to end the show real quick. So
Moral of the story: it's fun beating Richter. Have a good night, everybody.
yeah, have a good night, everyone, and we will see y'all next week.
Good night.